Hello viewers, a very good morning. अपने सबके इतु शो के स्वागत करिए से मुझे लिसन लाइमचन अभी दिन के शुरुआत करिबो और प्रोग्राम के भी शुरू करिना एक बाइबल स्क्रिप्चर साइलो My grace is sufficient for when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 to 10. Monede grace laga dikhole pari ase aji laga topic to. So isor laga grace to mon nimide sufficient ase. When we are weak, when we are strong, we need his grace. So itu la opor de highlight kuri na apnen gene achanai di ase. Next mon itia jaigna thought of the day bi sailobo. Yede kwado, you don't need to hide your weaknesses. God's power shines brightest in our vulnerable moment. Trust His strength in your weakness. So mon kwan nishna aji mon kiman weakness thakibi noile kiman mon khushi hobole moments kan ahilibi isor laga strength te mon focus koribo tai prahi itu blessings kan do mon ke ani dia laga ase aro ekta yede point kobole mon thaka do mon la vulnerable times mon kiman duk time de thakibi napunjia laga time de thakilibi isor laga takat aro isor laga morom do mon la jivan de hotai shine koribole lage aro itu yad koribo lage koina so manoge itu thought of the day pra anurad kori di ase तो viewers इतिया होता है निश्ना एक ता गाना हुनी वाले लगा टाइम पंजिशे आई भी गाना के हुनी लबो मान So gana to iman hi thakibo mon poem ekta forgiveness upor de sai lobo.
Forgiveness by Alfred Austin. Now with the dead years, conflict dead, and with flesh days, let all begin anew. Why longer amid shriveled leaf drifts dread? When buds are swelling, flower sheds peeping through, seen through the vista of the vanished years. How trivial seem the struggle and the crown. How vain past feuds when reconciling tears course down the channel, worn by vanished frown. How few mean half the bitterness they speak. Words more than feeling keep us still apart, and in the heat of passion or of pique, the tongue is far more cruel than the heart. Since love alone makes it worthwhile to live, let all be now.
Idia healthy tips measles la upor de sai lobo.
Let's discuss on measles. Measles is a viral disease which is highly contagious and affects mostly children. It spreads through the air when an infected person coughs or sneezes, causing a total body skin rash and flu-like symptoms. Before the introduction of the measles vaccine in 1963 and widespread vaccination, major epidemics occurred approximately every 2 to 3 years and caused an estimated 2.6 million deaths each year. An estimated 107,500 people died from measles in 2023, mostly children under the age of 5 years, despite the availability of a safe and cost-effective vaccine. The first symptoms of a measles infection are usually a cough, runny nose, fever, red and watery eyes. Kids also may have cochlear spots called as small red dots with blue-white centers inside the mouth before the rash starts. The rash begins about 3 to 5 days after exposure, usually on the face and upper neck. It spreads over about 3 days, eventually to the hands and feet. It usually lasts 5 to 6 days before fading, sometimes along with a high fever up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The rash usually begins as fat red spots on the forehead. On darker skin, these spots may be harder to see. The rash then spreads to the rest of the face, then down the neck and to the arms, legs and feet. The fever and rash slowly goes away after a few days. Who is at risk? Any non-immune person, not vaccinated or vaccinated but did not develop immunity, can become infected. Unvaccinated young children and pregnant persons are at highest risk of severe measles complications. If a woman catches measles during pregnancy, this can be dangerous for the mother and can result in her baby being born prematurely with a low birth weight. Complications are most common in children under 5 years and adults over age 30. They are most likely in children who are malnourished, especially those without enough vitamin A or with a weak immune system from HIV or other diseases. Measles itself also weakens the immune system and can make the body forget how to protect itself against infections, leaving children extremely vulnerable. Is measles contagious? Measles is very contagious. In fact, 9 out of 10 people who aren't vaccinated for measles will get it if they are near an infected person. How do people get measles? Measles spread when people breathe in or have direct contact with virus-infected fluid. It can pass through droplets spread into the air when someone with measles sneezes or coughs. Some people usually show symptoms 6 to 21 days later after they are exposed to the virus. People with measles can spread the disease as early as 5 days before the rash starts and until 4 days after. People with weak immune system due to other conditions can spread the measles virus longer, until they recover. How is measles treated? There is no specific medical cure for measles. Caregiving should focus on relieving symptoms, making the person comfortable, and preventing complications by giving your child plenty of fluids, encouraging extra rest, giving a non-aspirin fever medicine, such as acetaminophen or ibuprofen, if a fever makes your child uncomfortable. Never give aspirin to a child or teen who has a viral illness, as such use is linked to Reye syndrome, which can be life-threatening. Drinking enough water and treatments for dehydration can replace fluids lost to diarrhea or vomiting. Eating a healthy diet is also important. Children with measles should be kept away from others for 4 days after their rash appears. For those with a weak immune system, this should continue until they make a full recovery and all symptoms are gone. All children or adults with measles should receive 2 doses of vitamin A supplements, given 24 hours apart. This restores low vitamin A levels that occur even in well-nourished children. It can help prevent eye damage and blindness. Vitamin A supplements may also reduce the number of measles deaths. Why is vaccination important? Widespread immunization has made measles uncommon in the US, but outbreaks do still happen. An outbreak is when a disease happens in greater numbers than expected in a particular area. Measles outbreaks have been increasing worldwide, mostly spreading from people who are not vaccinated. It's important for all kids who can get the vaccine to get it on time. When a lot of other people are immunized against the disease, it protects them, prevents the disease from spreading, and helps prevent outbreaks. When should you call the doctor? Call the doctor right away if you think that your child has measles. Also call if your child was around someone who has measles, especially if your child is an infant, is taking medicines that suppress the immune system, has tuberculosis, cancer, or a disease that affects the immune system, hasn't gotten 2 doses of the measles vaccine. Can measles be prevented? Community-wide vaccination is the most effective way to prevent measles. All children should be vaccinated against measles. The vaccine is safe, effective, and inexpensive. Children should receive 2 doses of the vaccine to ensure they are immune. The first dose is usually given at 9 months of age in countries where measles is common and 12 to 15 months in other countries. A second dose should be given later in childhood, usually at 15 to 18 months. The measles vaccine is given alone or often combined with vaccines from mumps, rubella, or varicella. Routine measles vaccination combined with mass immunization campaigns in countries with high case rates are crucial for reducing global measles deaths. The measles vaccine is also used in emergencies to stop outbreaks from spreading.
Itia wonders of the world ajila topic to floating post office ase etuke itia sabo.
There is a letter that can travel across mountains, deserts, and oceans. But here in the Kashmir Valley, some letters begin their journey floating gently on a lake. On Dal Lake in Srinagar, where the mountain-capped Pir Panjal range casts its reflection like a painting on glass, there is something you won't find anywhere else in the world, a post office that floats. Not built on stone, not on soil, but on water. This is the floating post office of Srinagar, the only one of its kind in the entire world. To understand its story, we must roll back through time. In the 19th century, Dal Lake was not just a tourist postcard, it was the lifeline of Srinagar. The locals, the houseboat owners, the saffron traders, the pashmina weavers, they all moved through the city by water. The lake was their street, and the shikara was their cart. Long before the internet, long before phone calls, messages had to move across these waters, and so a small wooden structure was built on a boat, a place where letters could be sent and received without ever stepping onto land. Through the decades, it became more than just a postal stop. It became a connection point between families, between merchants, and sometimes between lovers separated by valleys and curfews. But by the early 2000s, it had started to fade from public attention. That's when, in 2011, then Chief Postmaster John Samuel decided to revive it, not just as a functional post office, but as a living heritage site. Step inside today, and the scent of old wood greets you. The walls are lined with photographs, stamps, and postcards from all over India's postal history. There's a small philately museum inside, a treasure chest for stamp collectors, showcasing designs that once carried India's stories to faraway lands. Behind the counter, you'll see something unusual. Not just envelopes and parcels, but tourists waiting eagerly to buy a postcard, scribble a few lines, and post it here. Because every letter that leaves this floating post office carries a special pictorial cancellation, a postmark of a shikara on Dal Lake framed by mountains. It's more than a stamp, it's a memory frozen in ink. In an age where we send a message in seconds, you might ask, why bother? Because here, the act of sending a letter is part of the journey. Imagine you sit on a sikara, the gentle paddle cutting through the water. You reach this wooden houseboat, you write a letter to someone you love, seal it, hand it over. That letter drifts quite literally into the hands of the postman and from here into the veins of the postal network. By the time it reaches its destination, it carries not just your words, but the romance of a place where water meets ink and time slows down. Over the years, the floating post office has become one of Srinagar's proudest symbols, a place covered by BBC, National Geographic, and countless travel shows. It has survived the harsh winters when Dal Lake freezes over. It has stayed open through times of political unrest when most shutters were closed. It is a gentle reminder that communication is not just about speed, it's about connection. So if you ever find yourself in Srinagar, take a break from the usual sightseeing. Step into a shikara, feel the cool water beneath you, and drift towards that cream and red wooden house. Inside, pick up a postcard, write to someone, maybe an old friend, maybe even to your future self, post it here. And when that letter arrives far away from the calm of Dal Lake, the person opening it will not just see your words. They will see the lake, the mountains, the ripples, and the floating dreams that carried your message to them. Because sometimes a letter isn't just a letter, sometimes it's a piece of a place. And here in Srinagar,
আৰু একটা টপিক চাই ল'ব মেগনেটিক হিল লাডাখ ল'ব পৰে
Magnetic Hill Ladakh. Magnetic Hill in Ladakh is a captivating destination situated at an elevation of 14,000 feet at a distance of 30 km from Leh. It is located along National Highway 1 on the Srinagar-Leh Highway. It is surrounded by the Himalayan range and girdled on its eastern side by the Indus River. Magnetic Hill offers a unique gravitational anomaly that attracts tourists from around the world. It is renowned for its mysterious ability to pull vehicles uphill, seemingly defying the force of gravity. It has been experienced and testified by travelers from all across the world. A common myth suggests that there is a magnetic anomaly or powerful magnetic field present at Magnetic Hill, which is responsible for the strange phenomenon. This belief is often fueled by the same magnetic hill itself, which implies a connection to magnetism. The Indus River following to the east of Magnetic Hill makes the surrounding a picture-perfect frame. While the magic of Magnetic Hill is an optical illusion, it has not stopped the creation of myth and lore about this phenomenon. This is more folklore than theory. The locals hold belief that a path to heaven once existed here. Some believe that the hill is a place of spiritual significance, where the law of physics are suspended and the boundary between the earthly and supernatural is blurred. They believe that not everyone could experience this magic, only those deserving of heaven could. Some legends claim that Magnetic Hill was once home to an ancient civilization with advanced technology. According to these stories, the people of this civilization possessed knowledge of magnetic forces that allowed them to build structures and vehicles that could defy gravity. With this myth and legends add to the allure of Magnetic Hill, the scientific explanation behind the phenomenon is rooted in the principles of physics and optics. Nonetheless, these stories continue to be passed down through generations, adding to the mystic and magic of this natural wonder. Even knowing the signs, the thrill doesn't fade. The landscape, rugged brown mountains, the distant snow peaks, and the serene flow of the Indus is as much a part of the experience as the gravity-defying moment itself. Magnetic Hill Ladakh.
তো ভিউৱাৰ্ছ এতিয়া আজি লগা ৱেডাৰ ৰিপৰ্টছ খান জনাই দিব Perun maximum 28, minimum 22. Dimapur maximum 32, minimum 26 degrees Celsius. Kohima maximum 23, minimum 19 degrees Celsius. Pek maximum 23, minimum 18 degrees Celsius. Wokha maximum 28, minimum 24 degrees Celsius. Zinapoto maximum 20, minimum 16 degrees Celsius. Kifrey maximum 24, minimum 21 degrees Celsius. Mokokchung maximum 26, minimum 22 degrees Celsius. Tuensang maximum 19, minimum 16 degrees Celsius. Mon maximum 26, minimum 21 degrees Celsius. Longleng maximum 21, minimum 17 degrees Celsius. Aronoklak maximum 19, minimum 16 degrees Celsius. So viewers, aji laga good morning day iman hi thakibo.